Wuthering Waves version 3.6 is officially bringing Qingxiao to the roster, and the community is completely misunderstanding how her damage actually scales. Everyone sees her elegant design and graceful appearance, but is she actually a must-pull arrow main DPS that redefines the meta? Or is she a massive field time trap that will completely ruin your quick swap rotations? Today, we are tearing apart her entire kit, comparing her dual stance momentum mechanics against the current roster and exposing the exact synergy locks holding her back. I promise you a brutally honest, definitive conclusion at the end of this video on whether she is a must-pull or an instant skip for your Wuthering Waves account. To be completely transparent, this next part dives straight into pure leak territory. Here is what is officially locked in regarding her visual identity versus what is still actively shifting in the closed beta servers. Officially, Qingxiao is shaping up to be an incredibly powerful character leaning heavily into a sword immortal aesthetic. But looking deeper into her beta gameplay, she is shaping up to be one of the most mechanically unique main DPS characters Wuthering Waves has ever designed. Instead of relying on a simple, brain-dead rotation or front-loading one massive burst of damage and immediately swapping out, her entire kit revolves around complex momentum maintenance. She strictly requires you to carefully manage multiple resources while gradually building toward an incredibly satisfying, high-scaling payoff. Her damage does not peak right away. Instead, it progressively ramps up as her extended rotation continues. You are constantly building momentum throughout the entire fight, and the longer you maintain her combat flow, the stronger she dynamically becomes. Let's break down the actual action economy here because she completely shatters standard Wuthering Waves weapon expectations. Officially, Qingxiao is classified as a sword character, but she fundamentally breaks that expectation by seamlessly incorporating a Gugin directly into her core combat loop. At the very beginning of a battle, her flying swords actually remain sealed directly within the Guqin. As you execute your basic attack strings, those swords gradually become unsheathed, opening up seamless transitions between elegant Guqin techniques and highly aggressive, deadly swordsmanship. This isn't just a cosmetic flourish, it dictates her entire resource management system. Instead of spamming a fixed linear combo, her Guqin attacks specifically generate a vital resource called Qin, while her sword techniques generate a completely separate stack called Sword Intent. Because both of these resources are mathematically equally important for her final damage multipliers, you are actively encouraged to continuously alternate between both combat styles instead of blindly focusing on only one. You cannot just camp in a single stance. You are constantly monitoring two separate resource gauges on your UI, deciding how to efficiently build both sets of stacks without breaking your combo string or taking damage. Both of these distinct combat forms are naturally connected through her enhanced heavy attack. Rather than interrupting your rotation whenever you are forced to change forms, every single transition actually extends your combo and keeps your momentum scaling upward without feeling like you are restarting your rotation. Successfully balancing these duels mechanics eventually unlocks the absolute strongest base multipliers in Qingxiao's kit. Once both your Qin and your Sword Intent resources reach exactly 5 stacks, she enters her Sword Immortal state. This unique state significantly increases her raw offensive capabilities. But Wuthering Waves didn't stop there. Instead of immediately capping out her maximum potential at 5, both of these resources can actually continue increasing all the way up to 7 total stacks. Once you hit that strict 7-stack threshold, Qingxiao gains access to Execution Slash. Based on the beta scaling we have seen so far, Execution Slash acts as the ultimate climax of her entire gameplay loop. After spending heavy field time, carefully balancing resources, smoothly switching forms, and maintaining your combat momentum, everything finally culminates in one devastating finishing technique that represents the absolute peak of her damage output. This gradual progression curve makes her entire rotation feel incredibly rewarding, because you are constantly working toward a massive payoff, rather than just immediately spending every single resource the literal moment you generate it. Her visual animations back this up perfectly. Abilities like Floating Life, 10,000 Swords, and 10,000 Swords Return to One visually dominate the screen, with countless flying swords that surround your enemies before converging into a massive concentrated strike. Her Resonance, Liberation, Myriad Swords Return to the Origin looks absolutely incredible and solidifies her as one of the highest skill ceiling characters Wuthering Waves is bringing to the game. She is very clearly designed to reward players who actually invest the time into learning her complex mechanics and practicing her timing windows. We also need to talk about her overarching utility outside of just raw DPS numbers in the Wuthering Waves endgame. Qingxiao provides genuinely excellent mobility tools that change how you interact with the game engine. Thanks to her highly unique sword flight ability, she can literally ride her flying sword across the battlefield at incredible speed during live combat. This specific mechanic grants her fantastic repositioning options, allowing her to quickly close massive distances on highly mobile bosses or completely evade lethal enemy attack patterns without wasting your precious stamina gauge. Outside of high-end combat, this sword flight ability is going to make general overworld exploration significantly more enjoyable. Anyone who has spent a lot of time exploring the world of Wuthering Waves already knows exactly how incredibly valuable strong traversal abilities can be. Characters that fundamentally smooth out your map traversal often stay relevant on your account long after their banner ends purely because they feel so effortlessly good to move around with, and Qingxiao easily falls straight into that top-tier utility category. Now, let's talk about mathematically optimizing her loadout and the specific synergy locks Kuro Games is clearly pushing here. If you already own Dinia on your Wuthering Waves account, Qingxiao immediately jumps up drastically in pull priority. Based on current beta testing and rotation mapping, Dinia is shaping up to be one of her absolute best teammates. The primary reason for this incredibly strict pairing is Dijaya's ability to consistently apply the Tomb Strain shifting mechanic. This interaction is extremely critical for your build optimization, because it allows Qingxiao to reliably and continuously activate the 5-piece effect of the Heart of Evil's Purge Echo set. Keeping that 5-piece effect active continuously grants an incredibly impressive 20% crit damage boost alongside a massive 30% arrow damage bonus. Those are absolutely massive offensive buffs that Qingxiao can natively take full advantage of throughout her heavily extended rotation. Furthermore, Dinia provides extremely valuable off-field support while passively enhancing the team's overall interaction with the Tomb Strain mechanic. Because Dinia does not require excessive field time herself, Qingxiao gets to safely remain on the battlefield much longer, allowing her to fully utilize her long field time playstyle without constantly interrupting her ramp-up mechanics to refresh buffs. But here is the honest value caveat I promised you at the absolute start of this video. We need to be brutally realistic about what this design philosophy actually means for your Wuthering Waves account. Qingxiao is a hyper-selfish, sustained on-field damage dealer. Her damage absolutely does not peak right away. It actively requires dedicated extended field time to continuously ramp up. If you are a player who strongly prefers hyper-fast, quick-swap team compositions where every single unit is dumping damage in rapid succession and cycling out, Qingxiao is going to feel incredibly clunky to you. She actively demands that you let her stay on the field to properly stack her Qinshin and Sword Intent gauges, and if you are forced to swap off early to dodge or you mess up the dual stance rotation, you completely miss out on that massive execution/payoff. She is a pure luxury pull designed for players who want a dedicated main character to completely master, not a flexible plug-and-play sub-DPS you can throw onto any random Wuthering Waves team. So, what is the definitive verdict? If you absolutely love complex resource management, want insane vertical scaling upon mastery, and already have Dinia fully leveled and ready to go, Qingxiao looks like an absolutely amazing character to pull when version 3.6 officially arrives. But if you absolutely hate long field time requirements and forced on-field stamina management, she is an easy, entirely safe skip. Let me know down in the comments if you are saving your pulls for her upcoming banner, and I will see you in the next breakdown.